Hello my friends, welcome back to Total War Warhammer 2 and Steel Faith Overhaul, where today the Beastmen of the Drakwold Forest will be squaring off against the forces of the Empire. And leading the charge, Big Daddy Doombull, monster straight out of your worst nightmares. It's been a while since we saw him last, but he'll be rocking alongside a Minibus Pain Train in support. An anti-large goon squad that can make even the famed knightly orders of the Empire quake in fear. While the Slaangors, the Beastmen champions of the Dark Prince, lie in wait with a vanguard ambush, holding back for that perfect moment to strike the unprotected rear, just how Slaanesh likes it. They have by far the best mobility for any infantry unit on the Beastmen roster, and a Bright Wizard Lord from the Imperial Colleges of Magic, about to unleash hellfire in this one, with Empire State Troops and Nuln Repeater handgunners in support. Now, Nuln Repeaters have a faster fire rate and shield breaker, so they are very expensive at 1200 gold, but they can pound units into a bloody pulp with volley after devastating volley. And the Order of the Knights Panther have shown up to the party as well. They've been reworked from anti-infantry specialists into anti-large cavalry, but might still retain their AoE attacks, which is not useful against large targets, so that's something the SFO team might need to look into. But as we start the battle, Outriders gonna unleash a hail of bullets into the flank of some gore, and that'll be a nice torrent of blood to get Khorne popping off here and excited as the battle starts. So, we are playing SFO. Things going to be a little different than what you might see in vanilla, and the Outriders a little bit more DPS oriented. They have shield breaker, higher missile damage, and AP, so definitely stronger from long range than they would be in the vanilla game. And the Brave Shaman of the Lore of Shadows with Melkoth's Mystifying Miasma, Pendulum, and Pit of Shades, going straight DPS there, dropping a lot of big spells on the heads of the Empire State Troops. And out on the left flank, hidden for now, Minotaurs. I don't think in vanilla game they can actually hide. I'm not sure if they ever actually addressed that, but they can hide in SFO, and so Gorbull, Minotaurs with great weapons, and the Doombull himself will be hiding, as well as the Butchers of Kalkengard back here. So we are rocking a legit Minibus, which is one of my favorite ways to play the Beastmen. It's not always the most cost-efficient way to play them, but it is one of the most fun, and it is guaranteed to make Khorne very pleased when you unleash that kind of army composition against the Empire. Empire Knights hidden on their left flank, Hellstorm Rocket Battery, unleashing volley after volley into the center of the Beastmen line. Gonna do a lot of damage to those unarmored gores. And back here, the Slaangor and some Tentagors with great weapons. A lot of armor piercing and speed to strike at that unprotected rear of the Empire State Troop line. It could be brutal. Look at that speed. They have 69 speed. They are as fast as heavy cavalry. Now, they're a lot squishier than regular Bestigors. They are glass cannons, but they hit like a truck. And they're my favorite of the marked Beastmen units in SFO. So these Nuln Repeaters, look at that missile damage. Their fire rate is pretty crazy. They are very powerful range units, elite ones for the Empire, and they can kind of rip up that front line if you're not careful. So we'll look to push them back and use shielded units in the front line. And the Bright Wizard Lord is rocking Searing Flame and has the Piercing Bolts of Burning, Flamestorm, Burning Head, and I think Fireball as well. So lots of flame magic coming our way, and it's going to be a good time. So as we look at the battle here, Nuln Repeaters already in range to fire, and the Hellstorm Rocket Batteries are going to kind of put the impetus on the Beastmen to attack. It is a full-on rush army. No range units whatsoever for the Cloven Ones, and that means straight into melee, overwhelm the defenders here, and get their formation shimmying a bit. And one of the best ways to do that, drop a Penumbral Pendulum on their flanks that'll either get them moving or get them dying, and it will slice through their ranks and chop off their arms as it goes. Not a fun way to go, and that will kind of force those halberds to move around and get out of position a bit. And if they don't move again, they're going to get shredded by that spell once again in a cut. Two of those halberds down to half HP, but these handgun volleys in the front ranks are absolutely brutal. So are the Hellstorm Rocket Batteries, the artillery, just exploding in the center of the Gore Herd line, and decapitations and dismemberment going the way of the Beastmen here, as all that powerful AP missile fire arcs in, and it's gonna be death for these meat shields up front. But those Ungors, that's what they exist for. They go in to die, mewling and crying as they do. Let the real Gores, the Bestigors, get in there afterwards, and things should be just fine. Outriders shredding the Gore Herd out on this flank, and even though they are shielded, they're now outflanking them as well. They're behind, and they're not getting that missile block chance, which means they're going to die like crazy, and the shield breaker actually would have bypassed most of that shield anyway. But the Doombull, Gorbull, and Minotaurs are moving out on the left flank. Knights Panther are still hidden for now, but the Slaangor back behind them have been revealed. by the Knights Panther and their ability to smell out heresy. And so we'll see if they react to that in time. Bestigors charging forward now, and you can see they are quite a bit faster than they are in vanilla, closing right into melee, and their charge bonus will get off. But halberds have charge defense against all, which is a great way to neutralize one of the things that makes Beastmen infantry so powerful. Very reliant on that charge bonus. But Burning Head did absolutely nothing to the Bestigors. Remember, Burning Head is designed to kill low armor infantry. Anything with high armor is going to barely get scratched by it, and so it did absolutely nothing there to the Beastmen line when it could have probably been carving up some of the Gore Herd on the other side of the battlefield. But the Minobus is into melee against the Knights Panther, and armor-piercing damage getting plopped down there in an AoE, and the Eye of the Wild. The Beastmen Minotaurs are going to go in and try to carve them up. That's going to be an interesting fight. We'll keep an eye on that. But for now, the ambush has sprung. Centaurs coming in from behind, as well as their Slaangor compatriots with the Hounds. And those Sterling's Revenge are in about the worst spot imaginable. There's no way to run away from Slaangor. They have 69 speed. Again, almost as fast as heavy cavalry. No way to run away, and that's an expensive regiment of renown that's just going to die outright. But the Nuln Repeaters have turned around, getting some really good shots in, and one way to get them moving again is use that penumbral pendulum. If they don't move, they're going to get punished heavily, and so they will. Carved apart as it slices through their ranks and takes them down to about half HP. Also, halberds are holding for now, but they're not going to trade too well into Bestigors, and the Knights Panther are already crumbling. They were supported by that Flaming Sword of Ruin, but there's so much infantry support, and the Gorbulls, and the Minotaurs coming in from the side, and that Doombull. I mean, Daddy Doombull is just a monster. He's an absolute beast in melee, and he's going to have no problem whatsoever carving them apart, but a Piercing Bolts of Burning will shred those Gore Herd. That did so much damage. Just incinerated a lot of those units. Bray Shaman getting his diseased bacon chariot into the flank of the halberds, who actually broke formation and outflanked those Gore Herd. That's kind of cool. You don't see that every day from state troops. Nuln Repeaters still in good shape. The Slaangors are already making such a huge impact. One of them might lose his arm, but a state troop right next to him will lose his head in return, and they are in a perfect position to rear charge and start messing stuff up alongside the Butchers of Kalkengard. And Butchers they are. I mean, they've got regen, they cause terror. One of the best monstrous infantry units in the game. Completely terrifying against blocks of infantry. And the Slaangor are already just causing so much havoc in the Empire backline. That Vanguard ambush has worked out really nicely so far, but things far from over. Good thing for the Beastmen, though, is that the Doombull and the Minotaurs carving up the Knights Panther, and they're going to win this engagement out on the left flank of the Beastmen line with a couple more somersaults and RKOs. That Great Axe going to work, and I think the Knights Panther are not going to be long for this world. A really nice Burning Head, though, carving through a lot of the Beastmen, and that time it was on an unarmored target, so made a much bigger impact there. And Empire Knights in the back line, and the Outriders, they're still free to do whatever they want to do. So the Empire Knights are in a good spot right now, but Pit of Shades about to drop on their heads, and yeah, it's going to go down right now. And they were full HP. This is one of the best ways to tie down high mass cavalry and destroy them, is send chaff their way and just drop a big vortex on their head, and it will blow them into smithereens. And so those Empire Knights are going to drop like flies, and that's going to be a big problem for the Empire. Now, the Piercing Bolts of Burning coming down again, but Bestigor is going to see it and move out of the way, utilizing that extra mobility they have in SFO. And the Bray Shaman still causing so much havoc with that chariot, doubling as a melee combatant and as a great caster that's already up probably over 100 kills with his 2 penumbral pendulums. Minotaurs into the flanks of the Spearmen, and those state troops without support from the rest of their knights and higher tier infantry and cav, not really going to be able to hold the line very long against the Doombull out on that side. But the Butchers of Kalkengard, Empire Knights, and everything kind of conglomerating in the center here, and it is getting into brutal melee combat, just devolving into a scrum without any semblance of a battle line. Another pendulum going down, and that has made a huge impact on the battle so far. Just carved a path of red ruin through the Empire. Bestigor is tying up a lot of the cav in the back that were trying to outflank. Another great sword's pushing forward now, and they could do a number on Bestigors and a lot of the Gore Herd infantry. But with the Butchers of Kalkengard in support and actually kind of getting ahead of themselves and charging directly into the scrum, this is where they thrive. With their regen and the fact that the great swords are anti-infantry, and kind of a lot of their stuff, a lot of their damage is armor piercing, and Minotaurs don't have a lot of armor anyway. the Butchers are going to live up to their namesake, supported by that Gorbel, and just carve a path. And it's just brutal. It's brutal stuff for the Empire, getting gored on the horns of a Minotaur, thrown into the air, and collapsing into the ground in an undignified heap. It's death. Death stalks the land for the Empire, and things have just not gone very well for them in this game. It's been a very quick strike from the Beastmen Brayherds here, and that's how they play in SFO and Vanilla, but they have a couple more tools in Steel Faith Overhaul that really allow them to just completely outflank and surround you, and that Slaangor ambush really kind of changed the whole outlook of that battle. Just their ability to vanguard behind their lines and sneak in behind, shut down the range units, and then get that rear charge directly afterwards. And that's how you want to use them. If you can ambush appropriately with them, they can completely carry a battle for you, and they did so here. Almost 300 kills. The Doombull didn't even, to be fair, he was fighting Knights Panther, which are very good cavalry, so he wasn't going to get a lot of kills anyway, and they did win their engagement out on that side, but I think a lot of this battle just came down to the Slaangor moving in from behind and shutting down a lot of the ranged firepower. I think the Empire would have benefited tremendously from having a more layered defense with more reserves, more in-depth approach to defense, where you kind of had a shallow formation, and that meant that when the handgunners had to push back, they didn't have anything behind them to protect against vanguard ambushes, and when the Slaangor and the Centaurs hit that rear, it was pretty much downhill right from the start, because the Slaangors could kill the Sterling's Revenge and then get directly into the back of the halberds, and once the middle of your entire infantry formation collapses, there's not much to fall back onto, no way to protect your range units, and then the speed of the Beastmen can really come into play. The Doombulls can prey on you, and it's just going to be bad news bears. So good game. Hope you guys enjoyed that one, and I think there will be plenty of more SFO content coming very soon, and I'll see you next time. Andy Pride, signing out for now.